out of the blue, one day I asked for a saxophone and was having bombed out of some piano lessons, but I was furnished with a saxophone and some lessons with Graham Ord, a really great local teacher. And then in my teen years, I started taking lessons with Stan Karp, and Stan is a real institution as far as saxophone players go locally, and he's lived a bunch of different places. So yeah, I've got to credit Stan with probably being my biggest influence developmentally. It's a funny thing because I can't trace it back to a particular moment or hearing a saxophone and going that. Like I often kind of quasi joke that if I left it another day or two, I could be a vibraphonist. I do recall, like, as soon as I got a saxophone, really just being quite taken with it. And I kind of think my tastes, I kind of fit saxophone into what my tastes were, as opposed to letting saxophone shape my tastes. I'm trying to elicit some sort of emotional reaction, no matter what I'm doing. Because that's what I look for in music as a listener. I think coming from the background I came from, I came up in the R&B scene primarily, and playing with my dad's bands, playing with guys like Jack, where it was like, you had to kind of get to the point, and say something. I think that's kind of carried through and informed my approach. But I do think the people I've looked up to locally and also on record and recording are very emotionally direct. And that's not just saxophone players, that's singer-songwriters, that's, the gamut of stuff that I listen to. It's just very emotionally direct. And and honest, and that's what I try to do. I'm very fortunate to play with people who are trying to be in the moment and be immediate as well. So I think that you can't help but feed off that. Studying with Stan, it was like, get a good sound, have a good time, like these kind of foundational things that transcend genre and setting, and just, you're gonna play a blues gig, you gotta have a good sound, you gotta have a good time. You're gonna play a funk gig, you gotta have a good sound, good time. Jazz, whatever, an avant-garde gig, you gotta have a good sound. So I think bring a certain respect to whatever setting you're in. If I could play jazz, there'd probably be more jazz in Malleus Trio. I don't know, but no, with Malleus, it is. I've known those guys for so long, and we've kind of developed as players, and it really is this entity that's equal parts the three of us. So the band to me is unique in that I can just hear the history and the sort of cumulative language that we've developed together. I was listening to some mixes yesterday, and I can hear lots of places where, at least personally, I'm trying to emulate some sound that's off of a rock record. I'm trying to take, I don't know, a synth patch from some record and translate it to saxophone, because that's sort of the beauty of saxophone, is that it's such an expressive instrument. There's so many different strange tones you can wrangle out of it. Sort of two primary drivers this year are going to be, there's going to a third Malleus album on the way. I'm going to hit the road with that, go to Europe for a bit, hopefully tour it across Canada in the summer. And then I've been working with Marianne Chetta and her quartet, and that's been a ton of fun. And I've known Mary a long time. Yeah, it's just been really neat to see somebody that multifaceted in different people's, who supported so many different people, step up to the plate and get to lead their own thing. So those are sort of my two big ticket items for the year. Feeling very fortunate to get to function creatively with these people. I'm also, I'm very fortunate to get to be a side guy in a bunch of different projects in town. And I wouldn't really have it any other way.